September 13th, 2017 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by the quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and the facts presented tonight. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondents will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chair and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by the staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. At this time, I will ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to stand and be sworn in by the Deputy City Clerk.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Cases will be taken out of order to accommodate respondents and witnesses present at tonight's meeting. Kristen?
Okay. The first case that we will hear is case number 17-1519, the city versus Elizabeth Graham and Sharon B. Callahan for property located at 10317 North 53rd Street. The case is before the board based on alleged violations of section 12860 inoperative vehicle and outdoor parts storage and section 1034 sanitation, keep premises clean. The case will be prosecuted this evening by interim director Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening. Before I give my testimony, I'd just like to introduce my new inspectors that were brought on last month. In the North Zone, we have Jose Silva. He's in the South Zone, and Steve Buckland, he's in the North Zone. So one replaced Sal, and the other gentleman replaced Omar. So I'd just like to introduce them, and they'll be testifying tonight as well.
Okay, thank you.
This, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated proactively on July 19, 2017. My inspection that day noted a large amount of debris in the rear yard, as well as yard parking and an appliance in the side yard. That morning, I left 3 door hangers with the re-inspection date of August 4th, 2017. My inspection on the 5th of August noted no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with the compliance inspection date of August 31st, 2017. Since there was no answer at the door the morning of August 7th, I posted the notice at the front door and requested copies be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My inspection on the 31st of August noted that the yard parking was in compliance, but there was no change to the accumulated debris and the refrigerator. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations that were taken by me on August 31st, 2017.
The board will accept.
On August 24th, I received a phone call from the Temple Terrace Police Department. They just wanted to make sure that code enforcement was aware of the amount of debris that was located in the rear yard of this property. I also received a complaint yesterday from one of the neighbors about the amount of debris that's in the back there. They were very concerned because of the hurricane, that amount of the debris that was there. I've had a dialogue with the owner, and she's here tonight. I believe the daughter's boyfriend brought all this debris into the rear yard, and so maybe she could educate us why this debris is here. I'm not sure why it's there. The reason why on the inoperative vehicle charge violation, it falls under refrigerator. The refrigerator falls under inoperative vehicles. So it's not, so that may be a little confusing to you, but if you read the narrative of the violation, it'll say appliances. Okay? So as of today, there's no change, and the two violations still remain out of compliance.
Just for clarification.
Sure.
Did you say that the debris was brought to the backyard?
Yes.
So it wasn't intended to have the city pick it up?
No. And there's a large amount of debris back there. There's quite a bit.
Thank you. Any questions? Any other questions?
So you're saying both of these violations are still? Can't hear you.
That's correct. The trash is still there in the rear yard, and the refrigerator was still there.
Mr. Snelling, can you pull your mic closer to you? Thank you. No, you're not on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am?
Well, I hate to disagree with him.
Ma'am, please state your name and address, please.
Sharon B. Callahan, 10317 North 53rd Street, Temple Terrace, Florida, 33617.
Thank you.
I hate to disagree with this gentleman, but there has been a lot of work done in my yard, and especially since the hurricane came through and took out that Johnberry tree I've been trying to figure out how to get rid of. And as for my freezer, not a refrigerator, it was a freezer, it's gone. To my disagreement, I wanted it in my house, but I couldn't get it in my house, so I had to get rid of it. Because I can't afford no $250 a day fines. So I have been moving stuff all day, last night and all day today, out of my yard. And I have pictures. Yeah. Charles, you know how to work this? Or do you know how to work it? And my front. And what you can see at the back.
Ma'am,
And my side yard. Where it was at in the side is gone. And the wood that I have back there is very well covered up, and it's out of sight, and I'm using it to make a security fence, if that is permitted. I will get whatever necessary
permit.
permits I need to do this with. So if
Okay.
you will give me just a little bit more time, so I'm buying, actually, Marvin's not supposed to be there. I'm gonna, he and I got into it, and he beat my daughter, and he got with me, and I actually have a case with him.
Okay, ma'am, we don't, that's,
I know that's neither here nor, but he keeps
Well,
dragging stuff up there.
yeah, okay. I
And I'm trying
understand.
to stop him from doing this.
Okay,
But here the last couple of days, he's been taking it off. And he
Okay.
keeps telling Don not to let me call and have somebody just come up there and drag it off. Because there's a lot of steel and stuff back there that's
Mm-hmm.
worth money, and that's what he wants.
Mm.
And that's all he'll drag off, as much as his truck will hold.
right.
So I'm in a,
Well, I don't want to interrupt you exactly, but I want to explain a couple of things to you. If it's debris type stuff that you want to get rid of, and you can move it to the street, the city, when you call the city, they will come by and load it on a truck. They'll use the clam loader and load it on the truck and haul it away for you. But it has to be brought to the street. Any of the debris that that's just stashed back there. And it's unfortunate that he's doing this to you, but that's out of our control here. But the thing that we want you to do is to be able to it has to be safe, and it has to be so you don't get animals and everything else living in it. Do you
yeah, I
understand that?
understand that. I don't
And
want that
so
either.
that's where we are, and I think with your cooperation, if you can get it to the street, then the city will pick it up. If you got your steel and stuff, that's a different thing, but that would have to go, it depends on how it's piled too. If it's neat and safe and all that, but it's not a storage yard, it's a residential yard. You understand that?
Yes.
So,
If I could have a few more days,
how many days do you think that you could do it?
I'm gonna get as much out as I can, and then I'm gonna call this Lamar that comes out and, or if I can find one, if there is one, 1-800-JUNK.
Mm-hmm.
They come out for free and take it all off and salvage what they can.
That's, would work too, yes.
Yeah, and this is Wednesday, right?
Yes.
If I can get this done by Saturday myself,
Okay.
and if I
Well-
can't come Saturday morning, I'm gonna call them and let them come and take the rest of it out.
Okay.
I cannot afford no $250 a month.
Right. Well, what the case is before us tonight, and we will be speaking on it and so forth, and then we will we will have a finding. And in that finding, if it gets voted that way, the best thing is to do is get rid of as much as you can as soon as you can. But we could give you 30 days before a fine would start. So you would be able to get 1-800-JUNK or whatever it is to come and pick up during that window of time without being fined. Okay?
Okay,
So, okay.
so 30 days. All right,
Any other questions?
that sounds good.
Yeah, I just had a question. The freezer, you said there's a freezer in the backyard? And
No, it's not there anymore. They
Okay, that's
took
gone.
it off.
Okay. That's all.
I wanted to get it in my kitchen because it works. There's nothing wrong with it. And they couldn't get Dolly to get it in there.
Okay.
That's all.
Any other questions?
No,
Thank you, Sharon.
just that. Okay, am I done?
Yes,
Do I
thank
have to
you.
do anything?
Nothing right now. Just keep on keeping on, okay?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak on this case? There being none?
I don't think anybody else is here with me too. And Charles, my cousin, doesn't know much about it. Okay. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping me.
Thank you. You want to wind it up, or are you done? Okay. Any discussion amongst us? There being none. I need a motion from my board members. Go for it.
Based on the testimony of Code Compliance Interim Director Tom Baroni and Sharon Callahan, presenting case number 17-1519, presented to the board at this hearing, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Elizabeth Graham and Sharon Callahan in case number 17-1519 to be guilty of violating sections 1034 and 12860 of the city code, and give the respondents until October 11th to come into compliance with the code sections in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $50 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following the compliance date and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Any board? Second, okay. Second by Mr. Newkirk. Is there any board discussion at this point of the motion? All right. There being none, the motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. No nays. Okay, I said earlier that I was going to do things out of order, and I am. We need approval of the minutes from August 9th, 2017. Has everyone had a chance to read them? Any changes? Okay, could I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 9th, 2017.
A second? A second by Mr. Snelling. Motion approved and seconded to approve the minutes of August 9th, 2017. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, no nays. All right, next case.
Next case, we will move to case number 17-1668, City versus Branch Banking and Trust Co. for property located at 521 Rolling View Drive. The case is before the board based on the alleged violation of Section 10.3B sanitation grass weeds, Section 12861B7 fences appearance, and Section 1034 sanitation keep premises clean. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Interim Director Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated from the previous administration on August 9th, 2017. My visit on August 10th, 2017 noted overgrown conditions throughout the yard, a wood fence in disrepair, and a vanity and a commode in the driveway being stored. Later that morning, I prepared a notice of violation with the compliance date of August 21st, 2017. The home is unoccupied, so I posted the original copy at the front door and requested copies be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy be sent to the bank's attorney. A copy was also posted at the City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My reinspection on the 21st of 2017 noted no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on August 28, 2017. Exhibit number 1 shows overgrown conditions. Exhibit number 2 shows the debris in the driveway. And exhibit 3 shows the damaged wood fence.
Board will accept.
Just one photo missing. There it is. Today's inspection noted no change, therefore the property remains out of compliance. This case was going to be presented in the August hearing, but it was pulled from the agenda, so I opened up a new case and proceeded forward.
Okay.
This property also has a running fine for a pool violation that's been going on for about a year and a half now. So that was presented in 2016.
Okay, being you mentioned pool, the fence has an issue. Is the
pool
pool
is still
safe?
Yes, I would say the pool is still so. You can see the picture where the fence section is detached from the section of the post, but it's, nobody could slip through there or anything like that.
Okay. Any other questions?
I could also tell you that the neighbors are very concerned about this property because it's been like this for quite a while.
Mr. Snelling, do you have any question?
No, well, I can come up with one.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Actually, I guess I do. Has the property been vacant, or is it, had been a rental that's just been left, or what's?
No, it was a foreclosure property, and it's been like this for quite a while, so.
So the bank has had the property for a considerable amount of time?
Yes, yep. I'm not sure exactly how long they've had it. I think there is a representative here tonight, so maybe.
Have they been notified?
Well, I did mail a copy of the notice of violation to the attorney for the bank, so hopefully maybe,
All
I'm
right,
not
being
sure.
we
if
have a speaker,
Okay, so-
we'll listen to it.
Okay, great. So
All
will I.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Fitzgerald. I am from the Robert M. Copeland, PA, in Largo, Florida, for 521 Rolling View. This is actually a little bit of an unusual case. We did take title, or BB&T did take title to this property. They held a second mortgage and took title to the property at the first mortgage foreclosure sale. The clerk of court in Hillsborough actually put the wrong legal description in the property. The former owner, borrower, also has another loan with BB&T in Tampa, has a legal description with rolling in it. The former owner ended up paying off his loan for the other property in Tampa, and they were confused and thought that this was actually the one that was paid off. They noticed, they realized the discrepancy when they received the notice of hearing. We did contact them, my law office, and they said, oh no, we don't own it, but that was a mistake. And so when they got the notice on the 28th of August, they had a vendor secured and contractor to come on September 1st. When they followed up on that, the contractor was not available, or we could not reach them because of the storm. So they did follow up with us as late as Friday and said they didn't have any extra information. I did drive by the property and it appears as described. So what, then their BB&T is aware that the potential for running fines. So we are asking for an extension to bring it to compliance so they can just make sure they get the contractor out there to correct the problems. And it was just really a mix-up on a lot of different planes.
Okay, I have one question.
Sure.
With the contractor that you have
Yes,
that was going to do the work September 1st, is still the contractor that's going to do the work now?
as far as I know, I cannot confirm that because my office just got power back and our server just went back online this afternoon and I wasn't able to get a response from the
So you
client.
aren't aware whether you're contracted with them or not?
With
The contractor?
The contractor, well, they have a vendor who hires the contractor to go out, and so no, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, could you do something for us?
Sure, absolutely.
And then you don't have to do it tonight. We'll wait
Okay.
till you get to your server tomorrow. But
Okay.
when you find out, as soon as you find out, would you let Mr. Baroni know?
Absolutely,
So we know what's going on?
sure, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe I misunderstood what you said, but can you tell me the date that the bank took over this?
The bank took over this, well, technically, they did not get title until June of last year.
Well, they did.
But they did have it. They purchased it in March, but because the clerk of court issued the incorrect certificate of title, it technically was not until
Till
June.
June of 2016?
That's correct.
So they've had it for over a year, okay.
They've had it for a while, yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone else wishing to speak? His question was, when did they take ownership? And
Right.
Mr. Newkirk's question, so just to make it clear.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah,
I'll do it.
pardon? Okay, let me see where we are here. Okay. I'd ask for a motion at this point of my board members.
Right, I'll give you
Okay.
those. Based on the testimony of Tom Barone, Code Compliance Officer, and the bank representative presented to the board at this hearing, and documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Branch Banking and Trust Company in case number 17-1668 to be guilty of violating sections 10-3 sub B, 12-86-1 sub B sub 7, and section 10-34 of the city code, and give the respondents until October 11th, 2017 to come in compliance with the code sections in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $75 per day will begin to accrue on the day after October 11th and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Newkirk and a second by Mr. Snelling. Any board discussion? There being none, I call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No nays. Okay, ma'am? You're aware that what's just happened? Yes. Okay, so you got 30 days and if anything goes on or you want to attend the next meeting, we'd appreciate it. Give us progress. Thank you. Next case, please.
The next case is case number 171669, City versus Resi SFR Sub LLC for property located at 605 West River Drive. Case is before the board based on the alleged violation of Section 8, 102.13C roofs duty to maintain. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Interim Director Barone. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Barone, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated from an email complaint from the tenant of moisture inside of her apartment. My visit to the property on August 11, 2017, noted some interior moisture inside the back wall of the dwelling. Since the management company has been out on several occasions with no success in repairs, a notice of violation was prepared that same day with the compliance date of August 28, 2017. Since the property is a rental property, I posted the original copy at the front door and sent copies both certified and first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. On my reinspection on the 28th of August, 2017, I noted a brown tarp placed over the back portion of the roof. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on August 28, 2017, showing a brown tarp on the back portion of the house.
The board will accept.
Okay. As of today's date, there has been no change, therefore the property remains out of compliance.
Any questions of Mr. Barone? There being none?
Okay.
Do you
No,
have-
I know
do
the
you have
ten, I know the tenant's here,
some-
and she'd like to speak on her behalf. Ladies?
Name and address, please.
Samis Lee and Shirley Lee.
Can you move the mic down a little bit? Thank you.
Samis Lee at 605 West River Drive, Temple Terrace, Florida.
Shirley Lee at 605 West River Drive, Temple Terrace, Florida.
Okay. Who's going to speak first?
Well, sir, from
You're
June,
Sharon, right?
Shirley.
Shirley.
Yes. From June 13th to current, we've had that problem with the roof, and it's just been back and forth with nothing in compliance, as the gentleman stated. And we've been now, currently, there's moist on the wall when it rains, during rain and after rain. So we're getting moist in the foyer with the topper on top. And now we've gone back and forth, even medically. We have a small child in the home who had, was diagnosed with upper respiratory infection, as well as 2 adults. So it's like, it's very exhausting. There's, nothing happening, and we're just really, frustrated in the matter. So, not really, knowing what to do at this point. And we're
Okay.
paying our rent on time. We're doing what we're supposed to do, keeping the property well kept as well.
You've been in contact with the owner of the property?
Yes, sir, and we have
And they're
documentation that we
responsible
wanted to
for
share
the-
with you as well.
Excuse me?
We have documentations that we wanted to present to
If you
you as
wanna
well,
have a
if
copy
you
for
would like
yourself.
a copy. Without a back and forth communication and what they've been doing. They've been sending a lot of roofers out, but people are just taking pictures, and there's nothing really physically happening for us.
Let me ask you a question on that then, because I like that question. I like that. When you initially complained and they sent out a roofer or 2, and then that nothing happens, so and you complain again, and they send out another roofer, is that kind of the game we're playing?
Yes, sir, and what happens is, it's right at, like a week before rent is due, that's when the roofers will come. So we've come across like maybe 6 roofers now, back and forth, up on the roof, taking pictures, coming back down. We have video of the roof as well. We have a greenhouse growing on top of the roof as well. We have a nice cactus plant that's, growing very nicely.
Very nicely
So
on
I
the
say
roof.
Christmas time, we probably can decorate it with lights, so we're still there. So,
That'd be-
it's hard, it's tough. And like I said, we're doing our part, we're keeping the property, we're paying our rent, and it's frustrating.
So I have another question. Forgot it. No, how long has this been going on for you? Since you first notified them of the leak?
Since June 13th, so
June
we've had
13th.
different roofers. I think it's the 13th of June, if I'm not mistaken.
September. Okay.
And prior to that, we had a major septic replacement. That took a while, and then it's just been one issue after another. It's not nonstop since.
But they did take care of the septic issue.
Yes, they did, but it wasn't, in a timely fashion, but we had to wait, and then now it's from that, from that major to this major, with the roofing, so it's.
This was a home, right? I mean,
This
it's
is a
it's
home,
a
yes, sir.
home,
It is a home.
single-family home.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Would you like to speak on it?
No, well, as far as the septic is concerned, right now we're being told that the wires are crossed.
Yes.
So when the toilet is flushing in the water, when the water is flushing in the tank, it's flushing hot water.
And so it's causing.
So that's
Oh,
causing,
the plumbing lines are,
the
Yes.
plumbing lines are crossed,
Yes.
So there's just one issue behind the other.
It's
that's
And
kind of
multiple-
unusual because it probably had cold water there at one time.
And so it's causing the utility to be, even
Bills are higher than
Yeah.
norm for us.
Well, we're dealing with just the roof tonight, so we'll see where we can go,
Okay.
all right?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I mean, I assume that you're not building professionals, but, I mean, do you assume that the moisture issue you were having is due to that issue of the roof, wherever that particular section of the roof? Is that what's causing the moisture issue you're having in the house?
Well, what
Or you
happened?
think there's something else going on too?
It's the roof.
We have a roofing contractor in an email documented here that actually states that they wouldn't even touch the roof without full repair. Altisource actually had them try to come out and just patch issues at the roof, and he just said it's beyond compare, it needs to be replaced.
And then also, it's a gravel tar roof, it's not the
Oh.
shingles.
Yeah, a lot of roofs in that
Yes.
area. they
Because
go
you
gravel
never know
targe,
where the leak
rock.
really is.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want to add anything?
No, actually, it just, when they told me that their children were getting sick from the, I didn't visibly see any kind of mold in there.
Not
Usually
yet.
black
It's
mold,
probably there.
when they have an upper respiratory infection, usually it's an indication. So I was hoping that the company would receive the notice and would motivate them to repair the roof. You know,
Right.
it's not a shingle, it's actually gravel up there.
Gravel roof.
So
yeah.
that's why there's vegetation growing up on top of it.
Right. Just, you visited the site, so visually, looking from the ground up, does it look like it's structurally sound? It's not saggy and it has,
Well, it's
I
really
mean,
hard
it's
to
an old
tell, to
roof.
be honest with you. I'm not a contractor, but I can tell you the back wall up on the, you could definitely see moisture on the wall. It's visibly, it's wet, and they put a tarp in the back of the structure. So it's, you know, I'm pretty confident it's
It's
the roof
back
that's.
there, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
okay. Any other questions?
Good.
So
Mr. Snow.
you haven't had any direct conversation with the owner?
No, no contact at all.
My question.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Is there any other person wishing to speak on this case? There not being, I'd ask my board members for a motion.
I'll make one.
All right.
Based on the testimony of Interim Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni and Cindy Lee and Shirley Lee, I'm sorry. Sorry, I got your name wrong. Presented to the board at this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Resi SFR Sub LLC care of Altisource Asset Management in case number 17-1669 to be guilty of violating sections 8-102 subsection 13 subsection C of the city code and give the respondents until October 11th to come into compliance with the code sections in questions. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $250 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following the compliance date and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Newkirk. Okay, any discussion?
I'll just say, I assume the $250 is because of the child in that residence, is that part of
Yeah,
your?
the child and then the lack of response in general. I mean, you know, they've had 3 or 4 months to do something about it and just seem to be ignoring it.
Okay,
You know, I thought that was a high price, but by the same token, the conditions weren't that kind of deal.
I believe so.
One we normally would do for something like that,
I
but this
believe
went on
so.
for a while. You had to push them.
It's
Yeah, if
bordered
it was
on
30 or
neglect.
45 days, I think it would have been a different thing, but, you know, they've had basically 4 months to do something about it and haven't, besides send somebody out.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Allen, second by Mr. Newkirk. Was it right? And we've had our discussion, a motion, and vote on the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays? Next case, please. Oh, pardon? Just to explain to you, and you don't have to sit through the rest of the meeting, but unless you would like to. It's informative, right?
If your power's out, you might want to sit in the AC.
Yeah. We've made a finding, and the owner of the property has 30 days to get, or until October 11th, to come into compliance, or show signs of coming into compliance. So this is the highest approach that we can, highest fine that we can, as a board, make on a finding. And therefore, I hope you're satisfied with our help to get your situation corrected. Thank you.
We're gonna skip to unfinished business. Case number 171027, City versus Gisela F. Smith for property located at 510 Hibiscus Drive. The expiration of compliance is tonight at midnight. We received an affidavit of compliance submitted by Interim Director Baroni dated today for sections 12-190 and 12-255. And I believe Larry Smith may have wanted to comment.
All I want to do is just say thank you to the board for all the help that you've given me, and also the council. Been very helpful, and it's been an educational experience, one that I hope I don't have to repeat. But I just did want to say, y'all, thank you very much. I really appreciated your help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Especially the code compliance department, they've been very helpful to me.
There you go.
Getting the world out of them, so
There you go.
thank you.
Okay, next case, please.
We will jump back into hearings and go to the second case on the agenda, which was case number 171592, City versus Timothy L. Madison for property located at 5301 Rainbow Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 10.3B sanitation grass weeds and section 12.901 pools duty to maintain. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Silva. The case has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, gentlemen. Jose Silva, Code Compliance. This case originated July 26, 2017 by Code Compliance Officer Tom Baroni, who noted overgrown conditions throughout the yard and the pool in unsanitary condition. At the time, door hangers were left with a compliance date of July 29, 2017. I was assigned the case August 17 of 2017. My inspection noted the same conditions, overgrown front conditions throughout the front yard, and a pool in unsanitary condition that had green water. The pool is still, to this date, properly secure with a pool barrier, so it's not accessible. Since my inspection on August 17th revealed no change, I issued a notice violation with a compliance date of August 28th. At that time, the home was unoccupied, so I posted a notice at the residence and delivered it to City Hall, and mailed copies both certified to the mailing address. On August 28th of 2017, I again re-inspected the location and noted no conditions. At this time, I have photographs that I would like to submit that I took on August 29th. Exhibit 1 is going to show the overgrown front yard, and Exhibit 2 will show the pool in unsanitary condition. As of today's date, there's still in the same condition.
Just for the record, you said no, in your, what you just said before you brought the pictures up, you said there were no violations yet. There still are violations.
There's still violations, sir. There's no change
No
in.
change in condition.
And no change, there it is.
Yeah.
We will accept these two.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Do we have anyone in here to speak to this case?
No one's here.
Okay.
There is a list pending that was filed in April of this year for foreclosure on the residence.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
So the property's still vacant?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any idea at all where the status of the foreclosure is?
It was filed on the 26th, and it's the lease pending, so it hasn't gone into full foreclosure yet.
Right, so it's still being leaned against or would possibly be leaned against Timothy Madison, the owner?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I assume you have had no contact with him at all?
No contact. The certified mails were, and the mail was returned back.
Oh,
Okay, anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here that wishes to speak on that case? Excuse me. There being none, I would like a motion by the board. Mr. Newkirk?
Based on the testimony of Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer, presented to the board at this hearing, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Timothy L. Madison in case number 17-1592 to be guilty of violating sections 10-3 sub B and section 12-901 of the city code and give the respondents until August 11th, 2017, October 11th, 2017, to come into compliance with the code sections in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $50 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following October 11th, 2017, and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence the property has been brought into compliance.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it. 2 seconds.
Mr. Snelling?
Yeah.
Okay,
And that was $50 a day?
$50
Yes.
a day. Any discussion? Motion has been made and seconded, and all in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays.
We'll go on to the third case on the agenda, case number 17-1650, City versus Kirk Khan, for property located at 10341 Terrace Springs Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 10-3B sanitation grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Steve Buckland. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Steve Buckland, Code Compliance. This case originally was proactively started by Interim Director Tom Baroni back on August 7th of this year. The initial inspection noted overgrown conditions at the property throughout the entire yard. A door hanger was issued with a reinspection date of August 11th. My inspection on August 15th revealed that there was no change in the property conditions, and therefore a notice of violation was issued with a compliance date of August 25th. The home was unoccupied at the time I went back on August 28th, which revealed no changes to the property. Again, the property was unoccupied, so I posted a notice at the front door of the residence and also requested that the city clerk office post a copy at City Hall and also to mail copies, both certified and regular mail, to the listed owner. At this time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the violation.
The board will accept.
This particular property is also going through foreclosure. It had the Liz Pens filed back on April 12th of 2016. There was also a final judgment that was signed back on June 27th of this year, but as of this morning, the property appraiser's office still shows Mr. Khan as being the current owner of the property. And again, when I went out and checked the property this morning, there was no change in the yard conditions other than the grass has grown higher. And therefore, the property is still out of compliance.
Okay, any questions?
Where is Terrace Springs Drive?
It's up in the northwest corner. If you come in off of Fletcher and come down off onto Morris Bridge, It's located down behind the falls. It's just south of the property, it's just south of the Falls Apartments.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
And again, no response from the owner.
No, the certified mail came back undeliverable.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak on that case? There being none, I would ask my board members for a motion.
Based on the testimony of Code Compliance Officer Steve Buckland, presented to the board this hearing, the documentary evidence received by the board, and make a motion that the board find Kirk Kahn in case number 17-1650 to be guilty of violating sections 10-3-B of the city code and give the respondents until October the 11th to come into compliance with the code section in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $75 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following compliance date and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Motion by Mr. Allen, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Snelling, seconded. Any board discussion? There being none, I ask for a vote on the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Next case, please.
The next case was the fourth on the agenda, which is case number 171667, City versus Berkeley Capital LLC for property located at 511 Carolyn Street. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 10.3B sanitation grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by our interim director Baroni. The city has evidence in the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated from the previous administration when this case was pulled from the MCEB hearing back in August of 2017. A new case was opened on August 10th, 2017, when I visited the property and noted overgrown conditions throughout the yard. Since the home is unoccupied, I prepared a notice of violation that same day with a compliance date of August 21st, 2017. I posted the original copy at the front door and requested copies be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My compliance inspection on the 21st of August, no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on August 28th, 2017. Exhibit number 1 shows overgrown conditions in the front yard.
Board will accept.
As of this date, there has been no change, and therefore the property remains out of compliance.
Any questions of Mr. Barone?
Tom, did you say this was in foreclosure?
Yes. In fact, I also mailed a copy of a copy to the registered agent on the notice of violation, but yes, I believe it is a foreclosure property.
Is well, it's Berkeley Capital LLC,
Yep.
and
I think prior to this ownership, it was a foreclosure.
all right, thank you. Is there anyone else present to speak on this case? There being none, I would ask the board for a motion.
You're looking at me, okay, I'll give this a shot. All right, based on the testimony. Oh, no, it's on, I'm just not close enough, I guess. Based on the testimony of interim director Tom Baroni, presented to the board at this hearing, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Berkeley Capital LLC, Ashley Nguyen, registered agent, to be guilty of violation of section 10-3 subsection B of the city code and give the respondents until October 11th to come in compliance with the code section in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $25 per day shall begin to accrue on October 12th and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, but I've got a question. What is the right, number? On our paper here, it has 16.
Oh, did I-
16.
17/16/67.
Over here on the notice of violation, it says 1667.
Right, that's what it is.
1667?
Okay.
That's what it is on the agenda.
What did you say the number was?
17/16/67.
Okay, well, see, it wasn't on the agenda. So I was thinking 1676. And yet, over here it
No.
says 1667.
That's a different case. That's the next case.
1667.
That's the next case
Yeah, we're on.
that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, are you clear now? This one is the next case, this Dijon,
Yeah, well, what case are we on now?
this one down
That's number 3. We already did that. We already did number 3. That's that.
here. It's under the last one,
Around the Berkeley Capitol.
yeah, the last one was Berkeley Capital, right here. Well, you're kind of mixing one, I think,
Maybe so.
but you're okay, right? Here.
Just the council just notes that the case number on the notice of violation and the case number on the agenda are identical for Berkeley Capital LLC, but if board member Newkirk, if it provides you a little bit of comfort, we will make sure before the order comes out that the case number is identical. And we'll double check that before Chairman Schmidt signs it.
You are correct.
Okay.
We're right, that's wrong, and you're correct.
That's all right. That's all right. Just want to make sure we get the right number.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, now that we have that straightened around, we have a motion and a second, and I have one question, I have one comment, that I feel the fine is presented as too low for the condition of the yard and the length of the time that it's been in that condition. So I would recommend a higher fine, say $50. So if you're so inclined,
Sure, I'll defer to your experience.
if you're so inclined, then if you amend the motion
Do you just want me
to,
to reread it again?
well, just amend it to the fine.
Okay. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $50 per day shall begin to accrue on October 12th and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Thank you.
And I'll second that, man.
All right, thank you. The motion has, do you have any comment on it? Okay, the motion has been made and seconded by Mr. Newkirk. And we've had our discussion, so I would like a vote on the motion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay, no nays. Next case, please. Oh, excuse me. Mr. Barone.
Yes.
Would you talk to those two people in the back, the couple in the back, and find out if they're waiting for a case or if they're waiting for old business?
They wanted to voice, they wanted to talk about a separate case that's not even on the agenda.
Okay.
So I spoke to them prior to the hearing and told them that this is not the forum for that type of, it's not an open forum. So I advised them to go to the city council meeting next Tuesday.
Okay,
They're aware.
okay,
Okay, sir?
okay, I agree with that, and,
violation we got that haven't been addressed since that happened. Where we were living in the home where all this was going on, we had sewage coming all up in the tub. and-
can't, excuse me. I feel for you, but, Mr. Tom, Mr. Barone, is this something that should come to you, or is this a city issue, or how is that?
This was brought to Mr. Damian several months ago. And Mr. Damian went out to the property, observed interior violations. I did not observe this violation or violations. Mr. Damian is no longer with us.
Right.
So I did not proceed with the notice of violation because I never witnessed the violation.
Okay,
Okay? So I did explain that to them several times, both the gentleman and the woman there, that I wasn't gonna move forward with the case, and they were dissatisfied with my response, so, they were told to come to this forum tonight. I did not tell them that.
okay. It's probably it's confusing. So,
Well, I
would you
didn't- I didn't
recommend
observe-
that they go to the city council, or would you, could you schedule to go out and do another inspection?
They're no longer at the property.
Oh,
So this can't continue because I never witnessed the I have to witness the violations. She's gonna come up here and say she showed me photos. Photos don't mean,
we
Photos- photos-
can't hear, excuse me, we can't, to them,
okay,
we can't hear this case tonight because it's not on the agenda. So, I guess what you said, right, Mr. Barone, for them to go to the council?
yeah.
Okay. That, we'll take it to the council and present it, and it'll be dealt with in a proper way. We can't do it tonight.
We just sit watching our process go, we ain't said nothing.
Right, well, that's why we're trying to help you get there and get satisfied, that's all of our goal.
Getting paid to come back in here with y'all so I can go over this with y'all.
We can't do anything about it, because we're just here to review cases that are brought before us. This case isn't on the schedule to come before us. So your avenue of
Frustration.
direction is to go to the city council on what date?
It's Tuesday, I believe
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
19th.
The 19th, okay, and bring that before them. And that they have a portion of the council meeting where they can
It's
come
at the
forward.
beginning of the meeting, and it's 3 minutes for public comment, at the beginning of every city council
Got
meeting,
that? Okay, and the meeting starts at
6 PM.
6 o'clock PM. So you want to be here on time. All righty?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Kristen, I'm sorry. Next case?
Oh, we're good. Okay, next case is case number 171676. City versus D. Gian Investments Group LLC for property located at 5416 Rainbow Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 128593. RVs, boats, and trailers non-commercial. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated August 15th by Code Compliance Officer Tom Barone, who noted yard parking, a flatbed utility trailer unscreened from view in the front yard. At that time, door hanger was issued with a compliance date of August 17th. I was assigned the case on August 17th. My inspection noted at that time overgrown conditions in the front and rear yard, yard parking along with a flatbed utility trailer unscreened from view in the front yard. Since my inspection on August 17th revealed no change, a notice of violation was issued with a compliance date of August 28th. The home up here occupied, so I posted the notice at the home as well as City Hall. Also mailed copies, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the registered owner. On my inspection on August 28th revealed the utility trailer parked in the driveway unscreened from view but the lawn and the yard and the vehicles, the lawn was mowed and the vehicles were removed from the yard. This time I'd like to submit a photographic evidence of the trailer, which I took on August 28th.
Board will accept.
As of to date, the trailer is still parked in the driveway of the residence, unscreened from view. So the property remains out of compliance.
Have you been in contact with the owner?
The registered owner did come into the office. I spoke to him. I asked him, have your tenants come into compliance before the court hearing, the board date. And that was the end of it.
Okay. So you talked with the owner, and this is a rental property, and there's a tenant in there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? There being none, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other persons that want to speak on this issue? There being none, I'm going to ask my board members for another motion.
Sure.
Thank you. Mr.
Based
Allen?
on the testimony of Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva, presented to the board at this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board, and make a motion that the board find, I guess it's pronounced Dijon Investments Group LLC, in case number 17-1676, to be guilty of violating sections 12-859 subsection 3 of the city code, and give the respondents until October 11th to come into compliance with the code sections in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $50 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following compliance date, which would be October the 11th, and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Newkirk. Any board discussion? There being none, I call for a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Call for a vote. All right. Next
Okay.
case, please.
This would be the last case on hearings. So this is case number 17-1697, City versus Melissa S. and Everett Parker for property located at 128 North Greenfield Avenue. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 828A1 permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Interim Director Brony. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case originated from Community Development when Code Compliance received a list of properties that had outstanding stop work orders on August 16, 2017. A notice of violation was prepared that same day, on August 17, 2017, with the compliance date of August 28, 2017. I believe the homeowner did some interior renovations without a permit. I posted a notice at the front door and requested copies be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. A check with Community Development noted no change on August 28, 2017. At this time, I would like to submit a screenshot of the stop work order as exhibit number 1.
Board will accept. As of September 6, 2017, an interior renovation permit was issued. Therefore, the property is in compliance, and at this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance. Board will accept.
And since the property came into compliance, I didn't bring the building inspector tonight, so there was really no need for that.
All right.
Okay?
Yes, who's asking finding?
Thank you.
I was just curious, how do you determine, I'm just curious, when there's interior work, how do you detect that, just out
Well,
of curiosity?
And I could tell you a few times I've observed it, when you see curbside debris at the curb, toilet, a tub, it kind of gives you a red flag. That's one way. I'm not sure how the building inspector found out this, but we just received a list of properties that had outstanding work orders.
Oh, so you got it from the building inspector, he's the one that actually.
Yeah, he's the one that notifies
Okay.
us, usually 80% of the time, unless we're driving around our zone and we see some work being done without a permit,
Okay,
then.
all right, thanks.
I can't tell you all my secrets, though.
Thank you, Mr. Barone.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this case? Okay. I would like to ask at this point for a motion from one of my board members.
Go ahead. Okay, I'll do it. Okay. Based on the testimony of Tom Barone, Code Compliance Officer in interim, presented to the board at the HITS's hearing, and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Melissa and Everett Parker in case number 17-1697 to be guilty of violating sections 8-28 sub-A sub-1 of the city code, but because the property was brought into compliance before the date of this hearing, no fine shall be assessed.
Could I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Allen. We have a motion, we have the motion and a second, and now we're gonna have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no nays. Unfinished business?
Okay, we have a few cases on unfinished business. So we already heard the first one. That was the affidavit of compliance. The next one is case number 17-1137, the city versus Shah Jahan Properties LLC for property located at 12635 North 56th Street. The expiration of compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 17-1243, city versus Betty J. Owens for property located at 505 Brentwood Drive. An affidavit of compliance dated August 10th was submitted by Interim Director Barone for Section 12861B7, and the case number 171378, City versus Natalie Anderson for property located at 105 Deer Park Avenue. The expiration of compliance is tonight at midnight. I had 3 cases not on the agenda with affidavits, and those were an affidavit of compliance dated July 17th, 2017, submitted for case number 170092, City versus Asset Trust Holdings, LLC Trust for property located at 6620 Jennifer Drive, and that's for sections 8-103-13P and 8-103-13O. An affidavit of compliance dated August 28th was submitted for case number 170846, City versus Wells Fargo Bank National Association, CO Shapiro Fishman and Gash, for property located at 10310 Council's Way for section 8-102-13C, and an affidavit was also submitted for compliance dated September 8th for case number 170869, City versus NCRC Housing Rehab Fund LLC for property located at 5205 East 131st Avenue for section 828A1 and 8-102-13H. And that's all the affidavits I had.
Thank you, Kristen. And we got 2 compliances out of it, and plus the other 3. Great. Now we come to other board action, and I know of nothing else going on, except I would like to just thank my board members up here for a fantastic job tonight. And I would also like to thank my new code enforcement, of course, Mr. Barone, of course, interim director, And I had it all written down here, and I was going to be so proud of myself. Mr. Buckland and Mr. Silva, thank you, you did a fine job,
I have a couple questions for Tom.
okay? And other business. Mr. Allen has a question for Mr. Barone.
I just have two questions. One was the Betty Owens thing. It came into compliance, but that was the one, was like a reverse mortgage or something, and she's not there, maybe even passed away possibly or something.
That's the one on Brentwood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was Sal's case
Oh.
that he presented. I just went out there on the unfinished business, and the compliance date, I went out there and the fence was secured. Yeah, so I didn't initiate that case at
Okay.
all.
Then the other question was the one on Jennifer Drive. Was that the one that's been kind of lingering for months about some interior termite damage or something?
Yes, yeah, that was been going on since, how
Been a
long?
while.
About a year and a half?
Has it been that long?
About a year
Wow.
and a half. It's been a while, so.
And then I followed up on, because then, of course, the grass was becoming overgrown, and got involved in on that side. And went back and it actually ended up backtracking. It seemed like that one was kind of fell through the cracks a little bit, time-wise. That's why we're looking at as far as backdate on that.
So they came into compliance, all right?
Yes, yeah.
So they've got whatever permits and doing whatever they need to
Yes,
do.
they satisfied the permits,
Cool.
so,
Very good, very good. Thank you.
well, thank you.
Ms. Garcia, do you know of any new business items that you need to bring before us? There being none. We'll move on to the ultimate goal of tonight, and that's entertaining a motion for adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
And I'll second it.
I have a motion by Mr. Snelling and a second by Mr. Newkirk to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. No nays.